The lights in the classroom flicker for 1 second, and every eye turns to the door as it slides open with a hiss. A shadow steps in first, taller than the door frame itself, and my hands go cold before I even see his face. Grez Talvoru walks in late, on purpose, because he wants the whole room watching him. He is 7 feet tall, with skin like polished stone and eyes that glow faint orange when he is angry. Right now, they are glowing. I am Ella Morgan, and I am the only human in this school who has never backed down from him. Today, that is about to be tested in front of 40 students who are all holding their breath. Professor Cade stands at the front of the room, chalk in hand, mid-sentence about orbital decay and gravity wells. He stops talking when Greztal walks straight past his own seat and stops beside my desk instead. My heart is pounding so hard I can hear it in my ears. I do not look up right away. I count to 3 in my head, slow, the way my father taught me before a big swim meet. Then I lift my chin and meet his glowing eyes. "Move," Greztal says, his voice low and rough, like rocks grinding together. "This is my seat." It is not his seat. It has never been his seat. But that is not the point today, and everyone in the room knows it. "There are 12 empty seats behind you," I say, keeping my voice steady even though my knees are shaking under the desk where nobody can see them. A few students laugh nervously, then go quiet fast when Greztal's crest flares a deep, dangerous violet. "Humans," he says, loud enough for the whole class, "cannot even calculate a simple burn trajectory, yet you dare speak to me like an equal." Professor Cade opens his mouth to step in, but I raise my hand first, palm out, asking him silently to wait. My pulse is racing, but something inside me steadies, the same feeling I get right before I dive into cold water and know there is no turning back. "Professor," I say, "may I answer him properly, with the board?" Professor Cade studies me for a second, then nods slowly and steps aside, chalk still in his fingers. "The floor is yours, Miss Morgan." I stand up. My legs feel like rubber, but I do not let it show on my face. Greztal towers over me, his shadow swallowing half my body, and for one terrifying moment, I think I might have made a mistake. Then I remember why I came to this school in the first place. Not to be small. Not to be quiet. Not to let anyone, human or alien, 7 feet tall or 70 feet tall, decide what I am capable of. I walked to the holoboard where Professor Cade had drawn a half-finished diagram, a broken mining station falling toward a gas giant, its orbit decaying fast. The numbers are still glowing faintly on the screen, waiting to be solved. "You said my species cannot calculate a burn trajectory," I say, picking up the light pen. "Let us test that claim right now, in front of everyone." Greztal's crest twitches. Around us, I hear chairs creak as students lean forward, phones tucked under desks, ready to record without anyone noticing. "This station," I say, tapping the diagram, "has 40 minutes before it crosses the Roche limit and breaks apart. We need a burn solution that saves the crew without tearing the hull in half. Simple mass, simple gravity, simple time pressure. The kind of problem your ancestors solved by watching one moon go around one planet for 10,000 years." "You mock our history," Greztal growls, stepping closer, and for a second the room feels like it is holding its breath with me. "No," I say, refusing to step back even though every instinct in my body screams at me to. "I am pointing out something you have never had to think about. Your planet gave you a perfect sky, one moon, one sun, no storms in the orbit. You watched, and the pattern repeated, and eventually, someone wrote it down. That is not genius. That is patience." His eyes flare brighter, orange bleeding into red, and somewhere behind me, I hear Professor Cade shift his weight, ready to step in if things go too far. I do not let myself think about what happens if they do. "Earth gave us nothing that simple," I continue, my hand moving fast across the board now, numbers filling the empty space, mass, velocity, angle of burn. Our moon is slowly drifting away. Our axis wobbles, because something enormous hit us billions of years ago and never fully let go. Our sky is covered in clouds half the time. We had to guess wrong for 2,000 years, circles inside circles, spheres inside spheres, before one man looked up and said, maybe everything is simply an ellipse. I finish the first half of the equation and underline it hard enough that the light pen sparks. We did not get handed an answer key, I say, turning to face him fully now, my voice steadier than I thought it could be. We built one out of guesswork and stubbornness, and it still got us into space in less time than it took your people to notice their own moon had a pattern. The room is completely silent, except for the low hum of the holoboard. Greztal's mouth opens, then closes again. His crest, which had been burning violet and red, begins to fade toward a dull, uncertain gray. That proves nothing, he finally says, but his voice has lost some of its weight. It proves I can finish this equation faster than you can insult me, I say, and I turn back to the board before he can answer. My hand moves fast now, the fear draining out of my fingers and turning into something sharper, something that feels almost like excitement. Delta velocity, burn window, margin for structural stress on the hull. Each number clicks into place like a lock opening. Behind me, I hear Professor Cade murmur something to another teacher who has appeared in the doorway, drawn by the noise, but I do not turn around. I cannot lose focus now, not when I am this close. I finish the final line of the solution and step back from the board, chest rising and falling fast, heart still hammering, but for a different reason now. Not fear, something closer to triumph. Professor Cade steps forward, scanning the board with sharp eyes. He checks the numbers twice, then a third time, and I watch his eyebrows rise slowly. Correct, he says, loud enough for the whole room to hear. 5 seconds faster than the class average, and a stable margin on the hull stress. Well done, Miss Morgan. A few students start clapping before they even realize they are doing it. Someone near the back lets out a low whistle. I do not smile yet. I am still watching Greztal, whose crest has gone almost completely flat now, all the color drained out of it. You had 40,000 years to notice a pattern in your own sky, I say quietly, just loud enough for him to hear over the murmur of the class. It took me 4 minutes to prove I do not need that kind of time to be right. For a long moment, Greztal says nothing. His shoulders, which had been squared and confident when he walked in, drop slightly. Then, without another word, he turns and walks to the empty seat in the back row, the one he had ignored on purpose only minutes earlier. I let out a breath I did not know I had been holding, and sit back down at my own desk, my hands finally steady again. Professor Cade clears the board with a wave of his hand, and returns to his lecture like nothing happened. But I can feel the shift in the room, a kind of energy that was not there before. A girl beside me leans over, whispering with wide eyes. That was incredible. I thought he was going to flip your desk. So did I admit, and for the first time since class started, I actually laugh, quiet and shaky, releasing all the tension that had been building in my chest. Class continues for another hour, but nobody looks at me the same way again. Even the other alien students, the ones who usually keep to themselves near the window, glance my way with something that looks almost like respect. When the bell finally rings, I gather my things slowly, my legs still a little unsteady from the adrenaline. As I walk toward the door, I feel a shadow fall over me again, and my stomach tightens for a second before I look up and see it is not Greztal. It is Kian, a boy from the row behind mine, tall for a human, but nothing compared to the alien students, with an easy smile and messy brown hair. You did not even blink, he says, falling into step beside me as we walk into the hallway. I would have passed out. I almost did, I admit. And this time, my laugh comes easier. My legs were shaking the whole time. Could not tell, he says. You looked like you owned that board. We walk together down the corridor, past groups of students still whispering about what happened, replaying the moment to anyone who missed it. I catch pieces of it as we pass, the story already growing bigger with every retelling, but I do not correct anyone. Let them tell it however they want. Behind us, near the classroom door, Grez Tall steps out last, alone, his crest still dull and flat. He does not look at me, and I do not look at him either. There is nothing left to say between us, not today. For the first time since I transferred to this school, surrounded by students twice my size from a dozen different worlds, I do not feel small. I do not feel like an outsider standing in someone else's shadow. I feel like I finally belong here, not because anyone gave me permission, but because I proved it myself, one equation at a time, in front of everyone who doubted me. And as Kian and I step out into the bright afternoon light, already laughing about something else entirely, I realize this is only the beginning of what I can prove in this place.